The secret connection between Edgar Allan Poe and the occult. There are minds that belong to an era, and there are minds that seem to exist outside of time itself, whispering secrets that should not yet be known, glimpsing realities beyond the veil of human understanding. Edgar Allan Poe was such a mind. But what if I told you that Poe's genius was not entirely his own? That his works, his obsessions, and even his tragic life were shaped by forces beyond the physical world? A man who wrote about premature burials, shadowy dimensions, and cryptic messages from the beyond, yet eerily predicted real events with impossible accuracy. A writer whose very death remains an unsolved mystery, as if he had unraveled truths too dangerous for this world. Could it be that Poe was not merely a writer, but an initiate? A seeker of forbidden knowledge? And if so, what was he trying to tell us? Tonight, we journey into the strange and supernatural life of Edgar Allan Poe. We will uncover the hidden codes within his stories, his fascination with the mystical sciences, and the haunting truth behind his visions. Because when you look deeply into Poe's works, you do not just find fiction. You find prophecy. The hidden language of Poe, mysticism in plain sight. Edgar Allan Poe was a master of the unseen. Not just in the way he wove terror into words, but in the way he embedded hidden messages, codes meant for those with the eyes to see. His works pulse with esoteric knowledge, concealed beneath the veil of Gothic fiction. Let us begin with a simple truth: Poe was obsessed with the nature of reality. He did not merely write about death and madness, he explored the fabric of existence itself. His final major work, Eureka, was not a story, but a cosmic revelation, laying out a theory of the universe eerily similar to modern quantum mechanics. He proposed that everything, matter, time, and even consciousness, was interconnected, stemming from a single source, much like the teachings of the Hermetic tradition. But Poe did not stop there. His stories hint at astral projection, numerology, and the secret nature of dreams. Consider Ligeia, a tale where the power of Sheer will transcends death, a direct echo of ancient alchemical teachings that speak of the philosopher's stone, not as a literal object, but as the transmutation of the soul. Or The Fall of the House of Usher, a story thick with symbolism. Usher's decaying mansion mirrors the crumbling psyche of its owner, but what if it is more than just metaphor? The house itself seems alive, sentient, responding to the energy of its inhabitants, just as the ancient mystics taught that structures can hold spiritual imprints. And then there is the Raven. A mere poem? Or a coded message about the nature of the human soul? The Raven, black as the void, speaks only one word: nevermore. In the language of alchemy, the Raven is the symbol of Nigredo, the blackening stage, where the self must be destroyed before it is reborn. Did Poe understand this? Was he revealing the initiatory death that all seekers must endure? These are not coincidences. Poe was a man who read deeply into the mysteries of the past, from Pythagoras to Swedenborg. His stories are maps, veiled in terror, but leading towards something greater. The question is, was Poe merely writing about these ideas? Or was he living them? The prophetic mind, Poe's visions of the future. A writer of fiction, they called him. A man of dark imagination. But what if Poe's tales were not simply born from creativity, but from something far more unsettling: premonition? There are those who possess the gift of foresight, whether they realize it or not. The ancient mystics called it the eye that sees beyond, the ability to pierce the illusion of time and glimpse into what has not yet come to pass. And if you look closely at Poe's works, you will find something disturbing: his stories predicted real events with chilling precision. Take, for instance, the narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket. In this novel, a shipwrecked crew, starving and desperate, resorts to cannibalism, drawing lots to see who will be sacrificed. The chosen victim? A man named Richard Parker. A disturbing fiction, until 46 years later, when a real ship, the Mignonette, was lost at sea. The starving crew drew lots, just as in Poe's novel. The one they killed and ate? His name was Richard Parker. Coincidence? Perhaps. But then we have The Balloon Hoax, a short story about a man crossing the Atlantic in a hot air balloon. Pure fantasy, until decades later, when such a journey became a reality. And then there is Eureka, where Poe describes a universe expanding and collapsing upon itself, a cycle of creation and destruction. A madman's ramblings, some said. But today, physicists recognize this as an early conceptualization of the Big Bang Theory, something Poe had no way of knowing in his time. What force was guiding him? Was he simply a man ahead of his time, or was he tapping into something greater? Did he unknowingly access the Akashic records, the cosmic library where all knowledge, past, present, and future, exists simultaneously? Or was he given these visions by something beyond this world? And if so, was that knowledge a blessing? Or a curse? The shadow that followed him, Poe and the occult. There are those who write about the darkness, and then there are those who live in its presence. Edgar Allan Poe did not merely create haunting tales, his life itself was a slow descent into the abyss. He walked a path marked by tragedy, obsession, and something more, something unseen. It is well known that Poe was fascinated by the supernatural, but what is less discussed is his connection to the occult. His writings suggest an intimate knowledge of mystical traditions, alchemy, numerology, even ceremonial magic. Was this mere literary flair? Or was he in contact with secret societies, those keepers of forbidden knowledge who lurk in the shadows of history? There are whispers that Poe may have been involved with the Rosicrucians, a secret order dedicated to esoteric wisdom. Some claim his poetry contains references to their teachings, hidden within symbols, ciphers, and veiled allegories. And then there are the Freemasons, an order deeply entwined with mysticism and sacred geometry. Poe's The Gold Bug revolves around a cryptographic puzzle, one that echoes the Masonic fascination with coded messages and hidden truths. But the most chilling possibility? That Poe was not simply studying the occult, but that he was haunted by it. He spoke of vivid dreams, strange premonitions, and an overwhelming sense of doom. His most famous poem, The Raven, was supposedly inspired by a dream, but was it merely that? Or was it a visitation, an entity whispering to him from beyond? And what of his death? The final chapter of Poe's life is as mysterious as the tales he left behind. Found delirious on the streets of Baltimore, dressed in clothes that were not his own, repeating the name Reynolds, with no known connection. No cause of death determined. No clear explanation. Some claim he was a victim of election fraud, others whisper of poisoning. But what if the truth is darker still? Did Poe uncover something he was not meant to know? Did the forces he played with finally consume him? And if that is the case, what warning does his life hold for us? Conclusion: The price of knowing. Edgar Allan Poe was more than a writer. He was a seeker, a man who stared into the abyss not just for inspiration, but for answers. His works contain strange echoes of forgotten wisdom, symbols hidden in plain sight, visions that came true, mysteries that remain unsolved. Was he merely a man with a brilliant mind? Or was he a conduit, an unwilling prophet receiving messages from beyond? Perhaps he tapped into the same forces that ancient mystics and occultists sought to harness. Or perhaps those forces found him. And if so, what does that mean for us? There is a lesson in Poe's life, one that all seekers of hidden knowledge must heed. The pursuit of truth is a double-edged sword. To peer beyond the veil is to risk never returning. To uncover what lies in the shadows is to invite them closer. Some say knowledge is power. But as Poe's fate reminds us, knowledge also has a cost. And so I leave you with a question. Did Edgar Allan Poe discover something? Or did something discover him? If you found this exploration intriguing, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Hidden Library, and share it with fellow seekers of esoteric wisdom. There are many more secrets waiting to be uncovered, and together, we will continue to unveil the mysteries hidden in plain sight. Until next time, keep searching, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep your mind open.